you doing? Good to see you. I am here with a brief update in that I got a dog. Does he love me? Yes. Maybe. Anyways, everybody, meet Odin. This is the newest member of our family. We got him from some lady who found him from some other lady who got him from some other lady. So he's jumped around house a little bit, but he's such a good boy. Look at my little pit bully mix. He is very dependent and a huge cuddle bug and an absolute menace sometimes, and I love him so much. He is actually not the point of this video, but he's gonna be here because he doesn't know how to be alone. So, you know, say hi to Odin, and hopefully he doesn't interrupt too much. What I'm actually here to tell you all about is that I'm a crochet girly now, and I wanted to share with you everything I've made so far. So before I show you all the things that I made, I wanted to give you a little bit of background of my crochet history. He's left us now. So I am not the newest crocheter. I grew up dabbling in crochet here and there. My grandma taught me how to crochet, and I made the worst hats. I also made a blanket that took me literally 3 years to finish because I was unable to follow through on anything. I've made many scarves, and as I've grown older now, you know, with friends who have real lives and things, I've also made baby blankets. So I'm not unfamiliar with the stitching and like how to actually do it. However, I have always crocheted with someone by my side, i.e. my mother. So she's always started the projects for me and always finished the projects for me. And I don't know, I just got lazy or whatever, and I never really bothered to learn how to do that particular part myself. But one day I was, you know, watching through YouTube as one does, and I saw a short of Elise Myers. Hopefully you know who she is. And for some reason, it absolutely captivated my brain. It was her walking on a treadmill, listening to new Taylor Swift songs, and crocheting. And if you know me, you know I also love Taylor Swift. I'm into walking, I guess, sometimes. And the visual of her crocheting, like, I don't know, the thought stayed in my head, and I was obsessed with it, and I couldn't let it go. And then for some reason, I think Instagram can read my mind, because then they started showing me targeted ads of the Woobles, which are little kits where you can crochet like the cutest little plushies, also known as amigurumi, which is like a Japanese term for something, I don't know, like a little plushie. And so I was like, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy one of those or 3 of those kits, and I did. And they are so right, because like literally their advertisement is like, warning, you will get hooked, and LOL. I really did, I did. And now I have a problem, and I want to share that with all of you. So I'm going to show you everything I've made so far since purchasing those first amigurumi kits, which I think was sometime in like November 2023. It's now April, beginning of April 2024, and I will show you everything I have done so far in as much chronological order I can remember. So let's go. So the very first thing I made was a little panda that I accidentally bought as extra because I bought 3 kits. They're a little pricey. It was a little pricey. So let's say it was a Christmas gift to myself. So I wanted 2 originally. One I desperately wanted, which was a narwhal, because I'm like obsessed with whale plushies, even though I own absolutely 0, so I really wanted it. And then 2 was a little reindeer because Christmas was coming up, so it's like, you know, it's festive, it makes sense. And then the 3rd one I was like, sure, just throw it in, because it was like, hey, you know, when you're checking out, like, add this extra one. And low-key, I didn't realize that I have to pay for it, but it doesn't after I paid for it. But it's okay, because I didn't like the panda, I didn't really want the panda, so I decided to do the panda first, because I knew I would mess up and that it would probably be the worst one. And I was so right, and I'm so glad that I didn't mess up my beautiful narwhal on my first try, and instead I did bow bow. Every time I look at it, it's just funnier every time. This is not my fault. This is literally how it comes out. So you're not supposed to look at it because this is the front. But also, this is like the derpiest little thing ever. And people are like, oh no, it's cute. Like, no, I can't. So the stitching itself is fine, but I did not realize how much sewing was involved in crocheting, and that's like so unfair because apparently I'm terrible at sewing. Just awful, like stitching. Like, look at this. This is not straight. It took me, but here's the thing, like, Kelly, why don't you just like, you know, do it right? I redid it. Redid the eyes, I redid the nose, I redid the ears, stitching them on so many times. I just couldn't, like, I just quit. Like, this is what you get. This is what it is, you know? Everything is incredibly uneven. I promise. I tried my hardest, and this is what we got. Bow Bow! They come with little names, and they're pretty cute names, I think. But this was my first one, and I'm glad he was my first one, because look at him, he's terrible, but like in a cute way. So now I usually keep him in my classroom, and I showed off it to my students, and they were really nice about it. They're like, no, it's cute. And I'm like, thank you so much for lying to me. That was nice. So this is Bow Bow. Then the second one I decided to make was the reindeer, because I'm like, I like the reindeer, but I need to, you know, get my skills up a little bit more before I go into the one I really want, which was the narwhal. So this is Rudolph. Much improved, maybe because there's less parts attached. That's not true. There's like the same amount of parts attached, and I had to do this little thing, which was like 2 parts together. But notice improvement, maybe because I don't have the big circles around the eyes, but we are slightly more symmetrical, I think. You know, the ears a little like the same. The little nose is off a little bit still. But again, I did it so many times, and I'm like, this is as good as it gets. And honestly, I was pretty happy with him, like significant improvement, but he does it just slightly lopsided. But it's okay because it shows progress. And then I was actually really tired, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done with this. But I knew I had the narwhal to finish, and so, you know, after a couple weeks, you know, giving it a rest, I finally came back to the narwhal, and I made Bjorn! Oh, look how cute. Absolutely adorable. 10 out of 10, right? Look at this little tail. I did not understand it, and I did it anyway. Oh my gosh, so cute. Everything I ever wanted, love it. One thing I have to say is a huge shout out to the Woobles. Like, honestly, they do a fantastic job of literally teaching you how to crochet. I thought I knew how to crochet, but I also knew how to crochet in Spanish. I did not know any of the terms, like what is a single crochet? What is a magic ring? What does it mean to fasten off? I didn't know any of that. So despite me coming in being like, I'm not really a beginner crochet, once I started this, I'm like, have I ever crocheted anything before in my life? I learned so much with them. It was actually really fun and really amazing. And then they teach you how to read a pattern, and I will admit, after the rubles, I'm like, I can read a pattern. And then I've tried to just read patterns, and like, not really. Sometimes. It depends how it's written. Like, I need very clear instructions and more than likely a video. So honestly, they do a really great job because they have the written pattern if you get it, but they also have like step-by-step video instructions that you can just go back to over and over again. I feel like I still need more explanation on how to stitch things on, but this came out so much better. And like the fabric that they use, the yarn, is like their handmade, you know, beginner yarn, and it looks so good, and it's really easy to work with, which is the whole point, right? So like 10 out of 10, obsessed, love them. A bit pricey, so at this point I probably wouldn't buy any more kits. I would probably just buy yarn and, you know, just search for a free pattern online or something. But definitely worth it, especially as a beginner and you have no idea what you're getting into, or you're somewhat a beginner and you think you know what you're getting into, but then it turns out you really don't. Amazing. 10 out of 10. So then after that, I was like, okay, let's venture out and let's go into YouTube. Let's find a community. And I did. And I was like, all right, what do we want to do? What do I know how to do? And I wanted to start with something small but comfortable. So I searched for a headband, and I ended up on, if you're in the crochet community, I'm sure you know her, TL Yarn Crafts, TLY Yarn, TL Tony Lipsy Yarn. TLY Yarn Crafts, TLY Crafts. You know, I should really probably know her YouTube handle. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna link everything below anyway, so if you're interested, you know, check her out. So I learned how to do Tunisian crochet, which is, I've never even heard about it. I didn't know that was a thing that existed. And I ended up making this really cute ear warmer, again, just because I wanted to start with a small project that I knew I could finish. And honestly, it's super cute. I didn't know what Tunisian crochet was. I still barely do. But typically you need like a really long crochet hook because it, like your entire round, like stitching like stays on the hook and then you work it off on the way back. But because this was a small project, I just used a regular crochet hook. And honestly, I think it turned out really cute. Yeah. So this is the first non-wooble thing I made, I think. Okay, actually, I just found this. I don't know if you can tell what it is, but it is a little, jellyfish, because I saw like a YouTube short and I thought they was the cutest thing ever, and I'm like, I can do that. I've made woobles, and honestly this thing was really hard. It took me like maybe 2-3 hours to make. I'm like, look at it, it's so derpy, it's not even that cute. I think it's because I hate this yarn. No offense, no offense. It's just not soft and it's not like cute and cuddly. But this is kind of cute, right? Little, yeah. What I actually made first with this purple yarn is a little ASL I Love You hand. And for some reason I can't find my sample right now. I can't find it right now. I honestly have no idea what I did with it. Maybe I'll put a picture here. I don't know. The first one I made was bad because I didn't understand how to read the pattern. And then I slept on it. And then I was like, Eureka, I understand now. And then I proceeded to make a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5 in this yarn, and then another one in a different yarn that I gave to my sister. So it's like a little I love you hand. It was actually a lot easier to crochet than I thought. It ended up taking me like an hour once I did a couple and I understood how to do it. So super easy, free pattern, found it on the internet. First pattern I ever read on my own, and I think the lady did a really good job explaining it. I didn't understand a part of it until I did, and then it came out really nice. Yeah, and then I made this because I'm like, I gotta use up the yarn I had. So this yarn is Red Heart Super Saver, 100% acrylic, and it is not soft. And I'm like, is this what acrylic is? So also then I had to do like a deep dive into like, what are the different kinds of yarns? What do they mean? I don't understand any of it. And fortunately, there's a thriving community on YouTube, and I have dived deep into a lot of those things, and I still feel very unknowledgeable. So one thing that really surprised me getting back into crochet was how much I did not know, and honestly it almost felt really overwhelming between mostly just the types of fibers. Like I didn't understand what acrylic was, I didn't understand what to use other things for, and honestly at this point I've only used acrylic. I'm branching out. I just bought some new yarn, ordered it, cotton yarn, to see kind of how that turns out, how that works. But between the different crochet hooks and sizes and the different terminology, there's like different words between American crochet and UK crochet, and making sure knowing all of that. It honestly felt really overwhelming sometimes, but then at that point I was like, I'm just gonna choose something I want to make, find a YouTube video for it, and then make it, and it was great. And so let's continue all the things I made. So after this one, I was like, I need to finish up this yarn, which was a lot of yarn and apparently not enough. So then I made this scarf, which I think the pattern was, I think it looks really nice. It's a little thick for my taste, but I think that's fine. I don't even remember what it is. Is it just like 2 double crochets in each stitch? I don't know. And then like, you know, little yarn. But if you notice, it's really short because I ran out of yarn, and I'm like, I'm absolutely not gonna I'm not gonna buy more of this yarn because I hate this yarn. And so, you know, it is what it is. Maybe I can find a small child to give this to. Because honestly, it's actually really cute. Now that I look at it more, it's actually really nice. I just ran out of yarn. And I'm like, I'm not gonna buy more yarn for this one. So, I don't know, if you're a small child and you would like this, let me know. Or if you're an adult and you want it for a small child, let me know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So after that, I realized, okay, I've done enough practice things. I think I'm ready for something real. So I was searching on TLY Yarn Crafts or whatever, TL Yarn Crafts, because she has amazing resources, lots of free patterns and videos to go along with it. So then I decided I was gonna make a cardigan. I have never made clothing before, unless you count scarves, which I don't. So this was like a real big challenge to me, and I was really, really excited about it. I brought my husband to Hobby Lobby and we searched for the yarn, and it took a really long time to figure out where the size of the yarn was, because that was really important. And then I had to buy a crochet hook, and I ended up making a cardigan, and I'm super excited about it. So without further ado, here is my amazing Kima cardigan from TL Yarn Crafts. Look at it! Isn't it beautiful? This mustard yellow, and look, it has pockets. Look, I'm not even a mustard kind of girl, but like, I don't know, I was like, I just was obsessed with the color. And look, it looks so nice. It's got little fitted things. I also learned that I have a huge problem, that I have actually no idea how to tie in my ends, as evidenced by, if you look really closely, or not even that closely. Oh my gosh, this is actually coming apart. There's like little ends coming out like everywhere, but don't look too closely, just look. It has pockets. Anyways, I was really, really excited. I was very nervous all the time because I chose a small size. I'm like, I'm not that tall, so I'm like, I thought small would be good for the not tallness part, but then I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't like wrap around. So this ribbing came in last. And my husband so smartfully, engineerily suggested, make this part bigger, like 5 inches or so, and like right on, so that way it can fully cover. So yeah, it's really warm now, so I can't wear it, but I definitely did wear it at least 3 times, and I was like, this is gonna be my forever cardigan. Like, I'm gonna wear it forever. Like, you're not gonna see me in a different sort of jacket or whatnot. But unfortunately, I did make it maybe like 2 months ago, and it's Florida, so it is no longer cold at all. So unfortunately, I cannot wear it very often, but you better believe I am so proud of this. Like, it took me several weeks to make, obviously, figuring out what I'm doing, and then just the time that it takes to make it. Fortunately, the video's super, super easy to follow along, and then you make it in panels. So I made like the side panels first, and then the back panel, and then the sleeves, and then the ribbings, and then you stitch it all together. And you already know how much I love stitching, so like that was a part I was really nervous about, making sure it was even, and honestly trying my hardest to not do like a good enough kind of thing, but actually make it good, which is not my forte. It's not my strength. I like to quit when things get hard and just leave it as is. But I tried really hard to actually do my best, and like, here's the stitching, and I don't think it looks that bad. Obviously you can tell it exists, but I think it came out really nice, and it has pockets. I literally almost gave up. I was like, it doesn't need pockets, just because I was really excited to be done with it. And then I was like, I'm into the whole, you know, I believe women's clothing not having pockets is a conspiracy that pants go along with purse industry, so that the purses can get a cut of, or that the pants get a cut of what the purses make, because the pants intentionally don't put pockets in women's clothing, so we have to buy extra accessories. And I'm not gonna put pockets on my own clothing. So I sucked it up and I put pockets on, and I'm really happy I did, and it fits my phone, and it doesn't even feel that heavy. So yeah, really, really, really excited. And honestly, a little proud of myself too for accomplishing something so big for me. You know, this is obviously like my biggest task so far, and I finished it, which is always a great feeling to finish something and for it to turn out really nice. Yeah, I was really, really proud about it. So then after that, I had promised somebody I was gonna make them a scarf, and I did, and I gave it away, and I don't have it on me, but here's a picture. Maybe, if I know how to edit that. Anyways, I hated that scarf, actually, because I think I also hated the yarn. It looks really pretty, but it was super bulky. Not super bulky, it was like 5, so chunky. No, it was a 6, so yeah, super bulky. I don't know, man. But anyways, it was a thick yarn, so it grew really fast. So I chose one pattern, I think from Tail Yarn Crafts, and it was just too big. It was too wide, it was too thick. I undid the whole thing when I was like 2 skeins in, which by the way is the terminology of the like balls of yarn that they come in. Not even a ball, because that's like the wrapped up one is a cake apparently, and then so like the one that you see is a ball of yarn, a skein. It took 2 of them. I'm like, I can't. So I unraveled it, and then I think I ended up doing the same pattern as the first scarf. I did shorten it because it was just way too thick, and it was still really thick. And I was doing it, and I was like, it needs to be really long. I had to go and buy extra yarn because I was like, it can't be too short this time because I'm giving it away to somebody. And then it was just getting really big, and I'm like, I hate this. It's ugly. I didn't like it. It was really heavy. And then I was like, I'm gonna make it into an infinity scarf instead of just like a regular one. So I like twisted one end, whip stitched the ends together, and then made it into an infinity scarf. And then I was like, oh, it's actually kind of nice. As evidence in the picture. Yeah, no, it actually turned out really nice. I think that was a great evidence, or that was a great case of trust the process, right? I hated it literally until the moment I was done. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. And fortunately, the person I gave it to was super, super nice and super, super excited. And that made me feel really, really happy about it. Because like I worked hard on it. You know, I spent many hours with it. I took it with me to wrestling state competitions, and I was literally crocheting up in the stands. So I did work hard on it. It was fine. It wasn't my favorite, but I was just really, really happy that she did really enjoy it. And even though it's Florida and it literally feels like a blanket, she said that she'll find use for it when she travels up north for the holidays. And she's already planning outfits for it. And I don't know, if someone ever gives you a handmade gift, I recommend, if you can, as genuinely as possible, make sure that you really appreciate it, because obviously, like any handmade thing, like the person's pouring a lot of their time and they're thinking of you while doing it, and you know, being really appreciative and grateful is just a really nice feeling, and it felt genuine, and so that made me really happy. But then I had like a ball of yarn or 2 left over, and I didn't like that yarn, so I'm like, what am I gonna do with this yarn? So I'm like, okay, let's make a hat. So I YouTubed how to crochet a beanie, and this is one of my top results that looked nice, looked pretty, looked easy, and this is the beanie. And actually, I really like this. I think it came out really nice, except for the stitching at the top. Like, I still don't understand how to do the stitching at the top. But like, low-key, does this not look like something you would buy in a store? Does it not also kind of look knitted? Like, this is amazing. And because the yarn was really thick, it grew really fast. So I was able to do this in like a day. I finished it in a car ride, you know, and it's measured to my head, which is tiny, so I can't give it away. Yeah, I have my hair up right now, so that's why it doesn't fit. But I think it actually turned out really nice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was actually really, really nice. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed the yarn I did this with. So then I was like, okay, let me do it again, but make one for my husband. So in all of this yarn excitement, I ended up subscribing to a yarn subscription box. Like, if you're familiar with any like subscription things, they send you a box of things every month. I decided to do yarn every other month, and I only did it for 2 rounds. So my first one was January, and it had this like blue variegated yarn that's made from recycled silk, and they support I don't know, like workers in India who dye the yarn. The whole thing, I think, is that the yarn is hand dyed. And it feels really interesting. I've never felt a yarn like this before. It's really soft and I like the texture of it. So then I ended up making my husband a beanie with the exact same pattern, but this yarn is a lot thinner. So it took so much longer to make and I was getting kind of tired of it. And then I made it a little too big, like a little too wide, because I thought like my husband has a big head. Even though I measured his head, I'm like, let me make it like an inch bigger, half an inch bigger. And it is kind of loose. And I don't know, it honestly just like, it's cute, I guess. But like, it honestly just did not turn out as nice. And I think maybe part of it also is just the texture of the yarn because it's so colorful. It's hard to notice the pattern, right? Like here you can easily see those rows. Here, like, you can't, which is fine. It's pretty, I guess. But yeah, my mom said I should go and make it tighter and do it right. And after talking about my sweater of how I don't do things right, maybe I should so then my husband can actually wear it or whatever. But then I have to go back and fix it and like do more to it and like just like I don't wanna. And then after that, I had another yarn that came in for March and the colors were green. So it was like I had this idea to make a headband and I was obsessed with the idea of a green headband for like 2 days. So then I Googled how to crochet a headband and I came out with this one. And similar thought, when you look at the picture of the YouTube video, her headbands, I just thought they were stunning. I was like captivated by the second I saw them. I'm like, this pattern looks amazing. The texture of these headbands looks amazing. And you can still see it in mine, but I think it just gets lost a little bit because it's a similar like variegated kind of colors, but in green. So here is my headband that I made pretty recently, actually, last week. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. And then I messed up like right at the end and I didn't even notice how I was done because I was like very particular about like keeping the point at the end. And I did the entire time until this last one. It kind of came out not pointy and I'm like, dang it. But I didn't notice and I'm not gonna go back and finish it. But it was like a Pico bandana and I think that's what like all these little bumps and bubbles are. I don't know if you can really see it too well, right? But I think the texture or the pattern was really pretty. I don't know if it really, you can really appreciate it in its fullest form, you know, but I really enjoyed doing it. I did this in like, I started it at like 10 o'clock at night and then I finished it the next day. I went to the beach, I worked on it in the car, I worked on it at the beach, I worked on it back at the car, and then I finished it at home. So a good several hours went into this. Again, this yarn is actually really thick. It's still recycled silk, but it was 4 medium worsted weight. That means anything to you. So it grew pretty fast. I definitely think if I had a thinner yarn, it would have taken me longer, obviously. But yeah. Yeah, super cute. I don't know, I like it, it's cute. It's a little heavy, but that's fine. Hopefully I wear it soon, that I'm brave enough to wear it, because I don't know. I think it looks cute with my bangs, right? I don't know. Take me to a cottage. Yeah, take me to like Ireland. I don't know. Let me be a hobbit for a second. That's New Zealand. Cottage core, you know? Am I right? And then the last thing I've been like obsessed with making, I'm actually wearing right now, are these little scrunchies. I had a lot of this, not a lot, but I have some of this leftover yarn from the hat and the bandana, which this actually took like 2 of those skeins of yarn. So I'm like, what the heck? So I just have like a little bit of yarn left and I'm like, I can't make something real out of it. Not real, but like something big. So I looked up like what are things I can make and I came across like scrunchies and I had seen scrunchies. I'm like, I'm not that big into scrunchies, but then I made one and I'm like obsessed. And then I made a coworker one like within 2 hours. And then I may or may not have offered several students to make them just because I wanted to finish up the yarn and make them and they had hair ties on them. So I maybe made a couple. And then this was the very last one that I just finished up because I was using up the remaining of the green. and the remaining of the blue. I don't know if it really works well together, but it's what I had, and this is what they get. You don't get to always choose what you get from a creative person, right? You ask for something and you just kind of get what you get, and then you're gonna be happy with it, right? And if you're not, you're gonna fake it well enough in their presence that it feels like it, right? So I don't know, it's kind of cute. Can I sell these? Would you buy one of these? Would you pay $5 for one? Asking for a friend, asking for me, because low-key, I like making them. It's really fast, it's really easy, and if I can make a buck off of them, I wouldn't mind. So like, let me know, would you pay $5 for this? Do you want me to make you one? I will make you one for free. Just let me know. I'm like obsessed. I need to buy yarn. I did buy yarn. And now I need projects to use it on. So maybe we'll come back in a couple months and see all the other things that I've made and created so far or after. But just know that I am an obsessed crochet girly, and I am enjoying this so much, and I dream about it sometimes. That tells you how obsessed I am. But I actually really like it. I feel like I'm genuinely a crocheter now. I can start and finish a project all on my own. If by on your own, I mean following a YouTube tutorial. Maybe I can potentially read patterns if they're like super, super, super easy. Or at least I can understand the pattern after having watched the YouTube video. But yeah. And honestly, another thing that really inspired me really getting into it, because I started with just like the little amigurumi, is that we had a Secret Santa event at my job. And I put like, we had like a little sheet, like, what do you like kind of things. And I had put like, one of my hobbies I was into was crocheting, and my favorite color was lavender. So I got this super, super, super nice like crochet bag. And it's like kind of my creative bag now. It has like my 4 crochet hooks, 5 crochet hooks, 3 of them being from the amigurumi things, because I kept forgetting to not click don't include a crochet, so I have 3 of these same exact crochets. And just a couple extra things, you know, extra stuffing, so I guess I can make something, I don't know. But yeah, it's just like a really nice bag, and look at what color it is. It's lavender. Isn't that so nice? That's so sweet. I thought that was a really, really thoughtful gift, especially for a Secret Santa, especially for a coworker who I don't even know that well. I thought that was a really thoughtful gift, and I was really grateful. So then, with some scrap yarn from the amigurumi, from the Woobles thing, I made him a penguin because I heard he liked penguins. Honestly, it was worse than the panda. I should probably make him something nicer. I don't know. It was not good, but it's the thought that counts, maybe, for some people. Yeah. And then Odin tried to steal this, and it ended up under the bed, and I didn't even know that he took it, but it survived, so that's a good thing. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, as I've been obsessed with crocheting, as you can see, like all the things that I made in just a couple months. Hopefully I continue to make lots of more things, and if you have babies, like, let me make you a blanket, or just let me know if you want something. I'm like really eager to make stuff and learn stuff, and now that summer's coming up, I have to learn how to make summer garments too, because that never crossed my mind, that crocheting and like things can be a summer thing and not just hats and scarves, because low-key I'm a little bored of hats and scarves because I have made those a lot. So being able to expand my repertoire with even just like headbands, and especially cardigans, you know, scrunchies, like it's just been so much fun learning, and I'm really excited to see how much other stuff I can make. Word of warning though, I got into crocheting at the wrong time of history, because at this point it is definitely cheaper to buy a cardigan than to make it myself, because this took the first round of buying yarn, which included the crochet hook at the time. It was like $30, and then I had to go and buy more yarn because I needed more yarn. So this is more than $30 worth of cardigan, and you can find something cheaper and maybe probably nicer at like Walmart. But this was a labor of love, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm a little sad I'm late to the game and I can't enjoy like cheap yarn. So now I have to give myself a yarn budget, which I may or may not stick to. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, not the super cheapest hobby, but it is a lot of fun, and I think it's really nice when you give things to people and they really enjoy it. I think I just enjoy making the things. I've seen like other YouTube crocheters where they keep like everything they make, and that's totally cool. That's your thing. That's your thing. For me personally, I don't know why, I almost feel bad keeping everything I make, like it's selfish, which doesn't make any sense, like to make something for myself. But I also just really enjoy giving it away, because also like what am I gonna do with like a million of these, right? But I enjoy making the thing, so if I can give it away to someone, that also feels good. As long as I take a picture of it so that I can have proof of all the things that I made, because I think that makes me feel good too. Again, thanks so much for joining me on my journey. If you have a crochet story, please share it with me. If you have more crochet resources, please share it with me. I will try to link everything, like all the videos and patterns for the things that I made down below. I probably maybe will miss one or two. Okay, I think that's enough ranting about crochet, because now I'm hooked. Okay, bye!